Hey guys, today we are going to be decorating this paper mache box, and when it comes to decorating boxes, it is anything goes. I have a couple of examples here. It's basically very inexpensive and you can find all kinds of cute scrapbook paper, ribbons, little accents, appliques, all kinds of little things you can use to decorate boxes with. So this is just a couple of ideas that I've done in the past. This one I have a shimmering body dust in, which I'm going to be making kind of a similar box today, different colors, different style. This one I did completely in scrapbook paper and then just applied the ribbon on the outside. So there's no paint on that one. This one I painted with acrylic paint. On the inside here I did a contrasting color, which I really like that little pop of color on the inside there. So we're going to be doing something similar. So just to give you an idea of some different things that you can do there. So the first step is priming the box. So make sure that you grab a pair of gloves, and also you're going to be needing a paintbrush. So what I use is just like these little foam brushes. It doesn't matter what kind of paintbrush you use. I just happened to come across these at my Habitat for Humanity, the Restore, and they were only 50 cents, so I just got those. And then I tore it into pieces so I could use it for different colors and different things so I could get more out of my money. Now you also want to make sure that your box is clean, make sure there's no dust on it, so you can always wipe it down, make sure all the tags are removed, and let's go ahead and get to work here. Alright, so we're just going to be priming this. And actually I like a little bit of texture, so I kind of start that in the primer phase, just kind of sponging it on instead of, swiping. So the primer I use is just this Valspar Interior Latex Multi-Purpose Primer. It doesn't really matter what kind you use though. So I usually paint in kind of like two phases. So phase one is I paint the outside or prime the outside and then let that dry, and then I can grab it and then turn it over and paint the inside. Now on today's box I'm going to be using these, so I'm going to go ahead and go out and prime these as well. So this is just like a little, kind of like a little drawer pull, a little knob, and I thought that would be really cute on the top as the little handle to lift up the lid, since we're going to be making this into a powder box today. So I've already sanded that down just with, any bit of sandpaper that you may have laying around will do just fine. Just make sure it's clean and dust free. And then these are little, I think they're called screw covers, but basically they're just little flat kind of domes of wood, so flat on one side and kind of like little dome shape on the bottom. So I think those will make really cute little like little legs for the bottom of our box. Now we're primed and ready to paint. So I'm going to be using these two paints. I get these at Walmart. This is just acrylic paint. This one is in Vintage White, and that's what I'm going to paint the outside. And then I'm going to do that same kind of pop of color that I did on this box here. I'm going to do that on the inside with this Key West kind of aqua color. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this Vintage White. So while I'm waiting for the outside of my box to dry, I'm going to go ahead and paint these little pieces of wood as well. So these are going to be my legs, this is going to be my handle, and let's see, we'll go ahead and paint it the Vintage White. Now that the outside of my box is dry, I'm ready to paint the inside, so I'm going to be using this pretty aqua color. This is Key West. Our paint's dry and we're ready to start playing with our Mod Podge. So grab that, and if you haven't ever used this before, this is a very cool type of glue slash sealant. And it comes in gloss and matte. I'm going to be using matte. It really doesn't matter which one you use. But I'm just going to go ahead and place this over the top here. Make sure I have it lined up where I want it to go. And we're going to go ahead and grab a little sponge paintbrush here and just apply that all over the back. Alright, and we're just going to apply this to the top here. And it is forgiving for the first, you know, few seconds if you need to slide it around just to make sure it's even. So exactly how we applied the Mod Podge on this piece here, I did the same thing on my strip of paper here and just painted it on the back, patted it on, and it wrapped around perfectly in one piece. I just have one seam here in the back. Now I did want to mention that if you are working with, say, maybe a round box that's a little bit larger and your paper doesn't wrap all the way around, all you have to do is cut your paper in 2 strips. So just cut 2 strips of paper and only cover half at a time. So you'll have 2 seams basically. It's better than say trying to wrap a large piece of paper all the way around and having a gap and then just trying to patch that gap with a little piece of paper. It just doesn't look quite right. So if you just have 2 seams and just cover half at a time, it works out perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and set this aside and get on to our next step. The next thing I want to do is add a ribbon. I want to add a ribbon around the top part of my lid here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and heat seal the ends of my ribbon to start. So on one end I'm going to add a dot of glue. And I'm going to place that on my box. Try to keep it as centered as possible. I'm going to go ahead and add a really thin little layer of glue along my lid. I'm just going to go a little at a time. I'm just kind of pressing as I go, make sure it stays nice and flat. And just line up the end of your ribbon with the other part of the ribbon you laid down. We'll add one final little dot of glue there. Now for the bow, I'm going to heat seal all ends of my ribbon. So I'm going to be using 2 6-inch pieces of ribbon and 1 4-inch. That's going to be our centerpiece. This is going to be the main part of our bow. So first off, I'm going to start by folding my ribbon in half and giving that a pinch. And I'm going to take my glue gun and add 2 little dots of glue right next to that crease. And then just fold over both sides. The ends are going to be right next to each other. They're just going to meet right in the middle there, right at that middle crease. Just press that down, set that aside, and we'll do the same thing with the other piece. So we should have 2 pieces that look exactly like that with the glue pinching the centers. And we're going to go ahead and take our glue gun and add 1 little dot to one of the centers. And then take your other piece and press that center over that one. And we're going to kind of make like a slanted X. So now your bow should be looking like this, and I'm going to go ahead and take my little short 4-inch piece here, and if you want, you could tie a knot in the center and have that be the center of your bow, and it would look, you know, something like that. Or you could leave it flat, you know, have a flat front. I think I'm just going to leave mine flat this time. So I'm just going to flip over my bow here, add a little dollop of glue on the back. Once that glue has set, go ahead and flip it over to the front, pull it tight across your center, back around to the back, Just pinch it there, add another little dollop of glue. And fold that over across the back. Now we have extra here since I didn't end up tying the knot, so I'm just going to trim that off. And I am going to go ahead and heat seal that open end now. Our bow is ready to add to our box. So I'm just going to take the top of my box here, right where we have that seam, and that's what I'm going to cover the seam with. So we'll just add a little dollop of glue right over the seam. Grab our bow. That's going to go right over the top. Next we're going to work on our little legs here, and we're going to go ahead and hot glue these on. So just position them evenly. And then grab your hot glue gun, add a little dollop onto each one. And the glue has set and we are good to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and set that down. And now for the top pole here, we're going to be using this. Now I could screw it through the back here. You know, just drill a hole or poke a hole and then, you know, just attach it like that with a screw. But I'm just going to hot glue it. So I'm just going to add glue all around the back here. Just place this directly in the middle. And we have finished our decorative box. Now this is just one of the millions of ways that you could decorate one of these boxes. But I just think it's always so much fun to take something that's just plain and kind of boring and just jazz it up and make it into something just really cute that you would enjoy seeing sitting on your shelf. Now you could use this for all kinds of things. You know, it can just be a basic little storage box. You could put jewelry in it. You could put makeup in it, whatever you like. I'm planning on using it as a powder box, and I have my little matching powder puff here, and so that is gonna be sitting right next to it on my little shelf. And our next project is going to be the making of the shimmering body dust. So I'm excited for that video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.